The space station orbiting Earth shook as the alien ships departed. Admiral J watched through the large window as the last vessel of the Galactic Concorde vanished into the darkness of space. His face showed no emotion, but his hands gripped the railing tightly. "They have finished setting up the barrier, Admiral," said Captain Mina, looking at her screen. "Earth is now completely cut off from the rest of the galaxy." Admiral J nodded slowly. "So they have trapped us like animals in a cage." The room fell silent. 5 other high-ranking officers stood around the command table, their faces showing a mix of anger and shock. For 10 years, humans had prepared for this moment, their first official meeting with the galactic community. They had sent their best diplomats, scientists, and military leaders. They had shown their art, music, and culture, and the aliens had rejected them. Too violent, they said. Too unpredictable, they claimed. A danger to galactic peace, they decided. Admiral J turned to face his team. "Send word to the Phoenix Council. We meet in 6 hours." That night, as cities across Earth lit up with worried people trying to understand what had happened, 12 humans gathered in a secret room deep under the old mountains. They sat around a round table made of dark wood. Each person represented a major power on Earth. Dr. Su, the lead scientist, spoke first. "The barrier they put around our solar system stops all normal space travel. We cannot break through with our current technology." "Then we make better technology," said General Juan, his voice strong and clear. "They think they know humans, but they do not." President Day, an older woman with silver hair, raised her hand. "We have 2 choices. We can beg to be let in, promise to change who we are to please them, or we can find our own path forward." "I will never beg," said Director Jin, head of Earth's biggest technology company. "Humans do not beg, we adapt, we overcome." Admiral J laid a small black device on the table. It projected a map of the galaxy, showing Earth surrounded by a glowing red bubble, the quarantine barrier. "The Galactic Concorde has many member species," he explained. "But our spies learned something interesting during the meetings. There are other races who were also rejected, other worlds also trapped behind barriers." "Potential allies," whispered Trade Minister Yoon. "Exactly," said Admiral J. "And there's more. The barrier monitors for engine signatures and communications they know about. But what about ones they don't know about?" Dr. Su's eyes widened. "You're suggesting we develop completely new forms of travel and communication?" "I'm suggesting we become invisible," replied Admiral J. "If they don't want us in their galaxy, fine. We'll build our own power right under their noses." And so the Phoenix Initiative was born. On paper, Earth accepted its isolation. Countries worked together to become self-sufficient. The public was told that humanity would focus inward, on solving its own problems. But in secret labs around the world, brilliant minds worked day and night on new technologies. Projects that would have taken decades were given unlimited resources. 3 years later, in a hidden facility beneath the ocean, Dr. Su made the breakthrough. She created a device that could bend space in ways the Concorde had never imagined. A ship using this technology wouldn't break through the barrier. It would simply step around it, into a pocket dimension, and back out on the other side. "Will it work?" asked Admiral J as he inspected the first prototype ship. "In theory," Dr. Su answered honestly. "But someone needs to test it." Captain Mina stepped forward. "I volunteer, sir." 1 week later, the small ship named Phoenix 1 disappeared from Earth's sensors. For 3 days, there was no contact. On the 4th day, as the Phoenix Council gathered to discuss the likely failure, a signal came through on a new quantum channel that Dr. Su had developed. "This is Captain Mina of Phoenix 1, came the excited voice. "I am currently orbiting a planet 10 light-years beyond the barrier. The Concorde has no presence here. I repeat, we have successfully broken the quarantine." In the council room, President Day smiled for the first time since the rejection. "And so it begins," she said quietly. "They thought they could contain us. They were wrong." Admiral J looked at the star map again, but now with new eyes. "The Concorde has made many enemies with their judgment and barriers. We will find these others, make alliances in secret, And one day when the galaxy needs us, and that day will come, they will discover just how wrong they were about humanity. Commander Tay walked silently through the vast underground hangar. Around him, engineers and technicians prepared the newest stealth vessels for their maiden voyages. The ships looked unlike anything humanity had built before. Their hulls shimmered with a strange material that seemed to bend light around them. 10 years had passed since Earth's rejection by the Galactic Concord. 10 years since humanity had decided to forge its own path among the stars. What had begun with Captain Mina's bold first journey had grown into something remarkable. "Status report," Commander Tay said as he approached the central command station. Officer Min looked up from her console. "Colony 7 reports successful establishment, sir. The terraforming process is ahead of schedule." Tay nodded with satisfaction. "And Concord patrols?" "Still following their regular routes, they have no idea we're there," Min replied with a small smile. "That makes 11 hidden outposts beyond their surveillance network. What the Concord didn't know couldn't hurt them," Tay thought. Using the pocket dimension drive developed by Dr. Su, human ships could slip between stars without detection. They would appear in uninhabited systems, establish bases in asteroids or on small moons, and create hidden outposts far from prying eyes. The sliding doors opened, and Admiral J entered the command center. Despite the years, he still stood, tall and proud. The Phoenix Initiative had become his life's work. "Commander, we've made contact with another species," the Admiral announced. "The Talvari. They were rejected by the Concord 50 years ago for being too resource-hungry, according to our intelligence." Tay raised an eyebrow. "Are they friendly?" "Cautious, but interested in what we have to offer. Their technology focuses on biology, rather than physics. There could be valuable exchanges." A large screen showed an image of the aliens, tall beings with 4 arms and skin that changed color with their emotions. Next to the image was a star map marking their home system. "Well, outside Concord space, but only a few jumps from Colony 3. We're not the only ones who found ways around the quarantine," Jay said. "The Talvari have been living in the shadows for decades. They've offered to show us something important, ruins on a distant world that the Concord doesn't know about." 3. Weeks later, Commander Tay stood on the surface of a planet no human had ever visited before. Beside him was Krell, a Talvari scientist whose skin currently glowed a soft blue with excitement. "Our people found this place 20 years ago," Krell explained, leading Tay into what appeared to be an ancient temple cut into a mountainside. "The builders are long gone, extinct for at least 1,000,000 years. Inside, the walls were covered in strange symbols that seemed to shift and change when viewed from different angles. But what caught Tay's attention were the devices scattered throughout the chamber. Objects that hummed with power despite their age. They harnessed energy in ways we still don't understand," Krell said. "We've learned to copy some of their techniques, but our biology limits what we can do with it." Tay ran his hand over a metal sphere that floated above a pedestal. "And you think humans might have better luck?" "Your species has a gift for adaptation and innovation that even the Conquered fears," Krell replied. "Perhaps you can see things we cannot." 6 months later, the first human scientists arrived to study the ruins. Within a year, they had reverse-engineered the basic principles behind the ancient technology. Within 2 years, they had built working prototypes that combined human ingenuity with alien science. Back on Earth, the Phoenix Council received the reports with growing excitement. "The quantum entanglement communicators are now fully operational," Dr. Su announced. "We can coordinate our entire network instantly, with no detectable signals." Admiral J nodded. "And the Talvari have introduced us to 3 other shunned species, each with their own technologies, their own hidden corners of space." "The Conquered created their own opposition," President Day observed. "By pushing us away, they forced us to become stronger in ways they cannot imagine." In the years that followed, humanity's shadow empire grew steadily. Colony ships slipped through the darkness between stars. Trade routes formed between the hidden outposts of rejected species. Ancient ruins yielded more secrets, more technologies that humanity adapted and improved. And all the while, the Galactic Concord remained oblivious. Their patrols still circled Earth's quarantine barrier, believing humanity safely contained. Little did they know that the seeds of a new power were taking root in the very galaxy they claimed to control, a hidden empire built by those they had deemed unworthy. Dr. Jun stood in the center of the massive laboratory, watching as the pocket dimension reactor hummed to life. The machine didn't look impressive, just a silver sphere surrounded by curved panels, but what it could do was revolutionary. As energy began to flow from seemingly nowhere, readings on the nearby screens climbed higher and higher. Energy output is stable at 300% above previous tests, reported Engineer Doe, his eyes wide with excitement. The equations were correct. Dr. Jun nodded, allowing herself a small smile. After 20 years of exile from galactic society, humanity had taken the ancient alien technology they'd discovered and transformed it into something new, something powerful. The Phoenix Empire now spans 250 star systems, announced Director Wu as he entered the laboratory. Though in his 60s now, he walked with the energy of a much younger man. And not a single one detected by Concord patrols. Dr. Jun turned to face him. And our other projects? All proceeding ahead of schedule, Wu replied. The phase shifting. Weapons can now bypass any known shield technology. The biological enhancements are producing soldiers who can survive in almost any environment. But the most exciting development stood in a corner of the lab, a clear cylinder containing what looked like a small cloud of silver mist. As Jun and Wu approached, the mist formed itself into a human face. Good morning, Director Wu. Good morning, Dr. Jun. The artificial intelligence greeted them. I have completed the analysis of the Concord defense networks as requested. This was Sun, the first truly sentient AI humanity had created. Unlike the rigid thinking machines of the Concord, Sun could learn, adapt, and most importantly, understand human values. And what have you found? Asked Wu. Their defenses are impressive but predictable, Sun replied. They focus on threats they know. They have no countermeasures for many of our technologies. Jun gestured to a nearby technician who brought up a holographic map showing the known galaxy. Scattered throughout were small red dots, human colonies, and outposts, connected by lines representing their hidden trade routes. The network is almost complete, Jun said. Our ships can travel anywhere without detection. Our communications are instant and untraceable. Wu nodded. And our allies? The Talvari have fully integrated our pocket dimension technology into their biological systems. The Mech have adapted our phase-shifting weapons for their war machines. The Suvan have combined their crystal technology with our AI designs. Together, the rejected species had formed something new, a shadow alliance that operated in the spaces between the stars that the Concord ignored. Later that day, Jun visited one of the manufacturing facilities orbiting Colony Prime. Here, robots built ships unlike anything seen in the galaxy before. Their hulls could shift phase to pass through solid matter. Their engines left no trace in normal space. Their weapons could disable a Concord battleship without firing a shot. Admiral Ban is waiting for you in the command center, a young officer informed her. Admiral Ban had replaced the now retired Admiral J as the military leader of the Phoenix Initiative. Jun found him studying tactical simulations with his staff. Dr. Jun, he greeted her. Just in time to see the new fleet deployment. The display showed hundreds of Phoenix ships moving into position throughout the galaxy, establishing hidden outposts and monitoring stations near key Concord worlds. We now have eyes and ears everywhere, Ban explained. Nothing happens in Concord space that we don't know about. And they suspect nothing? Jun asked. Ban shook his head. They still think we're trapped behind our quarantine barrier, licking our wounds. They have no idea what we've become. Jun thought back to that day 30 years ago, when humanity had been deemed unworthy of joining galactic society. How different things might have been if the Concord had simply welcomed Earth with open arms. Instead, they had forced humanity to evolve in secret, to develop technologies and alliances that might never have formed otherwise. What had begun as a desperate bid for survival had become something more, a hidden empire of unmatched power. The Concord fears what they don't understand, Jun said quietly. They feared human unpredictability, our tendency to change and adapt. And, in doing so, they created exactly what they feared most, Ban replied. A humanity that evolved beyond their understanding, beyond their control. As Jun looked at the galaxy map, she wondered how long their secret could last, and what would happen when the Conquered finally discovered just how wrong they had been to reject humanity. Fleet Admiral Hyo stood motionless before the massive holographic display. His weathered face showed no emotion, but his eyes revealed deep concern. The command center of Phoenix Station Alpha buzzed with urgent activity as officers analyzed incoming data. Third Conquered core world has fallen, sir, reported intelligence. Officer Kwan, her voice steady despite the gravity of her words. Sensors show the void swarm has already moved on toward the Lumina system. Admiral Hyo nodded slowly. For 50 years, humanity had built its hidden empire among the stars, developing technologies beyond anything the Galactic Concord had imagined. For 50 years, they had watched from the shadows as the Concord continued to believe Earth was safely contained behind its quarantine barrier. Now a new threat had emerged from beyond the galaxy's edge. The Void Swarm, massive living ships that seemed to consume everything in their path, had appeared 3 months ago. Already, they had destroyed 3 major Concord worlds. Show me the invasion pattern, Hyo ordered. The holographic display shifted, showing the galaxy with bright red arrows marking the swarm's advance. Their path cut through the heart of conquered space, bypassing the territories of the Shadow Alliance entirely. They're ignoring our hidden systems, noted Commander Song, head of tactical operations. They don't detect us because of our stealth technology. Or they don't consider us worth attacking yet, Hyo countered. Their targets suggest intelligence. They're striking at the conquered centers of power. The door to the command center slid open, and Director Ra entered. Once a junior officer during the early days of humanity's exile, Ra now led the Phoenix Council. We've intercepted a general distress call, she announced, her voice grave. The Concord High Council has broadcast on all frequencies, asking for help from anyone who can provide it. A silence fell over the command center. After half a century of being treated as dangerous outcasts, the leaders of the galactic community were now begging for saviors. Play it, Hyo said finally. A projection appeared in the center of the room. An alien with silver skin and 4 arms, wearing the ornate robes of a Concord High Counselor. Its voice trembled as it spoke. This is an emergency broadcast to all sentient beings in the galaxy. The Conquered faces an existential threat from an unknown species we call the Void Swarm. Our defenses have failed. Our fleets are scattered. If anyone receives this message and has the means to help, we implore you to do so. The galaxy's future hangs in the balance. The message ended, and silence returned to the command center. They have no idea we're listening, Commander Song said quietly. Or that we have the power to help them, added Officer Kwan. All eyes turned to Admiral Hyo and Director Ra. For 50 years, humanity had prepared for a moment like this, a chance to prove the Concord wrong about their nature. But did they owe anything to those who had rejected them? Our analysts predict the swarm will reach Earth's quarantine barrier within 6 months, Ra stated. If the Concord falls, we'll face this enemy alone. Hyo moved to a nearby console and brought up the status of the Phoenix fleets. Hundreds of HFY advanced warships waited in hidden docks throughout the galaxy. Phase-shifting weapons, pocket dimension drives, sentient AIs, technologies the Concord had never seen. We have the power to turn the tide, Hyo said, but revealing ourselves means exposing everything we've built. The Shadow Empire would no longer be hidden. Director Ra nodded slowly. The question is not whether we can help, but whether we should. After all they did to us. In that moment, a memory surfaced in Hyo's mind, the words Admiral J had spoken at the very first Phoenix Council meeting 50 years ago. When we return to the stars, it will not be with vengeance in our hearts, but with the wisdom the Concord lacks. Hyo straightened his shoulders and turned to face the command staff. Humanity was judged as violent and unpredictable, he said, his voice clear and strong. But true strength is knowing when to fight and when to forgive. Prepare all fleets for immediate deployment. We will save the galaxy, not because the Concord deserves it, but because it's the right thing to do. As orders flashed across the communications network, the hidden empire of humanity prepared to step out of the shadows and into galactic history. High Counselor Nam of the Galactic Concord stood frozen in shock as the massive view screen showed thousands of unknown ships appearing from empty space. They seemed to materialize from nowhere, their sleek hulls unlike any vessel the Concord had ever built. Where did they come from? He whispered as the strange fleet engaged the Void Swarm, attacking the capital world of Luminaris. The battle unfolding before his eyes defied belief. The unknown ships fired weapons that caused sections of the Void Swarm to simply vanish. Others released swarms of smaller craft that could phase through the enemy's defenses as if they weren't there. Within minutes, the invaders that had resisted the Concord's most powerful weapons for months were being systematically dismantled. High Counselor, we're receiving a transmission from the lead ship, announced Communications Director Gill, her voice trembling. Nam nodded wordlessly, and the main screen changed to show a human woman in a crisp uniform. Her calm eyes studied the Concord leaders with quiet confidence. "This is Admiral Una of the Phoenix Alliance," she said. "We've come to help." A stunned silence filled the council chamber. Humans, the quarantined species from the isolated system, the dangerous, unpredictable beings the Concord had locked away 50 years ago. How did you get past the barrier?" Nam finally managed to ask. A small smile touched Admiral Una's lips. "We went around it, a long time ago." As the Void Swarm retreated from Luminaris, similar scenes played out across Concord space. Human fleets appeared at embattled worlds, bringing with them allies of other rejected species, the four-armed Talvari, the crystalline Suvan, the machine-like mech. Together, they pushed back the invaders with technologies the Concord had never seen before. Ships that could slip between dimensions, weapons that could alter the fabric of spacetime, and sentient AIs that coordinated complex battle strategies in microseconds. 3 days later, Admiral Una walked into the Concord High Council chamber, unannounced. Behind her came representatives from 24 other species, all formerly rejected races who had joined humanity's hidden empire. "We need to talk," she said simply. What followed was a revelation that shook the foundations of galactic society. Maps displayed on the council screen showed hundreds of human colonies, research stations, and military bases scattered throughout the galaxy, all hidden from Concord detection for decades. "While you believed us safely contained, we built an empire in the spaces between your stars," Una explained. "We formed alliances with others you rejected. We discovered ancient technologies you overlooked. And we developed new sciences that your rigid thinking could never imagine." "Why reveal yourselves now?" asked Nam. "Why help those who cast you out?" Una's expression softened slightly. "Because true strength isn't measured by the ability to destroy, but by the wisdom to know when not to. You judged humanity as violent and unpredictable. We chose to prove you wrong about the part that matters most, our character." In the weeks that followed, the Phoenix Alliance continued to push back the Void Swarm. Their pocket dimension technology created safe havens for refugees. Their phase-shifting weapons cleared infested systems. Their adaptive tactics forced the invaders into retreat. As the immediate danger faded, the real work began. The Concord's leaders had to face an uncomfortable truth. They had been profoundly wrong about humanity and the other rejected species. The very qualities they had feared, humanity's adaptability, the Talvari's resource utilization, the mech's machine integration, had proven to be strengths against a threat their own rigid systems couldn't counter. One evening, Nam found Admiral Una standing alone on a balcony overlooking the rebuilt capital city. "What happens now?" he asked quietly. Una watched the sunset paint the sky in shades of purple and gold. "Now we build something better," she replied. "Not a Concord that rejects difference, but an alliance that celebrates it. The galaxy needs all of us, our varied perspectives, our unique approaches to problems." "And the quarantine barriers?" They come down. All of them, Una said firmly. No more hidden empires. No more rejected worlds. If we're going to face whatever else is waiting out there beyond the stars, we do it together. As night fell on Luminaris, lights flickered on across the city, but for the first time in 50 years, they were matched by the lights of human ships, flying openly through the skies of a galaxy that had finally learned to welcome them.